Okay, second continuation. I'm going to mesh these together because I don't like to say the same damn things. She's going to tell you a little bit of what's going on. I'm not going to mention her name or anything, and her face isn't on here, but you can get an idea and of any strange disappearances in Marlin. We know who to go look for, whatever cop is on duty. Anyway, go ahead.
Basically, I left my home. We had paid a yard man to mow the lawn, and when he left to go get some gas for the lawnmower, he didn't come back for 6 weeks. 6 weeks later, he came back, and I had heard, I don't take the Marlin paper, I'd heard he got busted a couple of times, and he came back, wanted to ride home, and I said, do you have any idea where the New York Giants field is? I've looked for it, I can't find it. The New York Giants used to play in Marlin, and they have a ball field there. Back in the 20s they played, and I'd heard that all the equipment was sold, and I just wanted to see if anything was left. The actual bleachers were there, play equipment, the actual lights, everything was there, and a man had come to Marlin from New York and wanted to revive the field where he could maybe do some games and actually bring the people back. And I thought that would be so neat for Marlin. So I thought, I wonder if anything is left. I couldn't find the field, so I asked him, would you go drive down, and we call it Southside Marlin, and see if you can show me where the field is. He said, I know exactly where it is. Well, it was grown up with, it looked like trees and tall grass, and it looked like just something you'd see out in the safari or the jungle. You couldn't even... Anyway, long story short, we were going that way, and from Live Oak Street all the way down South Side, deep into South Side, all the way down to the right, all the way down Highway 7, I was followed by police. There were eyewitnesses that saw the police following me. Girl that has a shop on Main Street, watched them. Anyway, I go into the park to see if the baseball field's closed down. Some Mexican ball players told me the baseball field was closed down, and when I was going through the park, I was surrounded by so many police I can't tell you. In all directions, police surrounded me. He had planted dope in the car, and they bust me, and now I'm looking at going to the penitentiary probably for life. And it's been set up after set up.
Tell them what they did to Marlin when she was little.
When my child was probably 4 or 5 years old, 6 years old, very young, they stopped me, pulled me over, and told her she better tell the police officer where all the dope is in the car, because if not, she was going to go to the penitentiary just like her mother.
Tell them about searching.
And then they had the child search the car while they stood outside, and then they stood me on the side of the street with stun guns on me. And then after they did all this, they said, oops, wrong car. And this has happened to me the other day. They stopped me, pulled me over. I had my child, and who at this point is 16, and my nephew at this point is 14, and they pull me over, and they say that I don't have insurance. I had insurance in the house because we've been having transmission problems, so I had to get all the proper type of car and everything to get a new transmission for the truck, and I just pulled it out. I told the officer where the insurance was. They arrested me and put me in jail. The judge said this is an illegal arrest, illegal everything. You can't put somebody in jail for this. And then they said that I didn't have the right plates on. I had switched plates, and I was driving under falsified plates. These are the plates that were issued to the truck. And then when I went to the penitentiary, they had a force of men come, and they were out of Fort Hood. They came, surrounded my car. Some were laying on my car with rifles, guns, pointing at my head. They said, if you move, we'll shoot you. They were going to shoot me in the head. I heard clicks in all directions, and they kicked my back tail light in. They said, oops, wrong car. No, they said, oops, wrong car. Oops, they arrested me. This was due to me leaving the country club, and some guy out there had gotten 10 DWIs. My father heard the entire conversation of him setting me up with the police. A whole conversation he heard. This individual has gotten another DWI, and he's still walking.
And guess what? He's a bail bondsman, isn't it?
Yep.
The bail bondsman?
Still walking on all of it. And then, now I'm looking at going to the penitentiary for another setup, surrounded by cars. So they said they stopped me because I was doing a major dope deal with this girl that was in my home right before they put me in the pen when drugs were planted in my dad's gun closet. They enhanced it with the child, the drugs, and child drugs and guns. Triple enhancement, virtually giving me a life sentence. I went to a federal punishment camp where every day there were 2 people with shut down kidneys. One was related to people at King Ranch. The other one was Burnell. She was related to a rock star, a Mexican rock star during the era of Elvis Presley. Both their kidneys were shut down, so they stopped the shutdown chairs where we worked about all day long.
Calm down.
Every day.
And get yourself upset.
I know, worked all day, every day. If you could walk after you got through working all day to get a meal, it was horrible. It was. Then they turned it into a overflow unit, and after that overflow unit, we had to have people with full-blown AIDS in there. There were people with death row people. Everybody was in there. You name it, because they were being transitioned to different units. And the only reason I knew about the full-blown AIDS is they had red badges on, and I asked them what the red badges meant, and they told me, and I was like, wow, so we're with all this.
Tell them about how you get medication in jail.
None. I drank some Marlin water. It was under a ban. It spewed out of my mouth like I'd been poisoned. This was when they were trying to force us all to take pregnancy tests. I don't need a pregnancy test. And, then they asked a girl before me, oh, excuse me, how much drugs have you done? And then they tell me it's for a pregnancy test. And I know that the last time right before I went to the penitentiary, they said my urine was glowing and I never saw daylight again on the test, which doesn't mean the test is wrong. This is all bullshit, and I've had it. So I've done 30 years on and off of my life being on probation. I did more time than I was sentenced because they made me take a program called CEC and Gateway, and I took both programs, and since they couldn't get their 30,000 or whatever it is on the second program, they made me stay in the penitentiary longer than I was sentenced. This is against my rights.
I got a question. Beth, have you ever been in trouble for anything besides the drug? You haven't.
No, I've been set up every single time.
I haven't ever got in trouble either. I mean, I have a $4.95 check. I'm not a thief. I'm not a liar.
Oh, I was told under oath that I was a known thief in Marlin. That was under oath. The officer said that.
A known thief would have a arrest record of it.
Yeah, and then I was stealing equipment from the park. First time they arrested me, I was doing a drug deal with a girl.
We are dumpster divers. We are not ashamed. I don't care.
Second time, I was stealing pipes that were so long, and I went down and I talked to the city people, and they said no pipes were gone. Then they said I was stealing tools. No tools were ever down there. The tools are on the truck, so they don't have any proof. The people from the city said, then tell them to prove that you sold the pipes and the tools, because they have no proof. They don't even have a case on that, because the head guy said there are no tools missing, there are no pipes missing. He said besides that they were donated, and they don't, they don't have any value to us. They're just actually just dumped there. Who cares? It's just, there was no value lost. Even if I had stolen, which I didn't, poles that were so long that I couldn't even drug them behind my car.
And this is the same town that still, up until not that long ago, was still pistol whipping people. Pistol whipping. Who could do it? And the deaths that occur there are unreal. I mean, even I called to my cab driver, and he was scared that they'd already killed me.
How could they put me in the penitentiary, though, for doing a drug deal with this girl I never stopped and spoke to, but they swore under oath that I stopped and did a drug deal with her, a major drug deal, yet they let her drive right by the head of the narcotics division.
Oh, remember, they also was trying to put you in the dogfighting ring, too.
Yeah, they said
she don't even have a dog.
Some girl that was downtown Marlin saw a dogfighting ring downtown South, and they said that I did the whole dogfighting. And then they said I was in a theft ring because the guy that worked on my
She's kind of boring. She's
brakes,
really not a dog fighter.
Yeah, the guy that worked on my brakes got paid with 2 chainsaws. He said, you know anybody needing chainsaws? These are in good shape. I asked a guy that happened to be the head of the prison unit if, why would I go to somebody that was head of a prison unit and ask him about that, somebody that works with the law. And he said, yeah, I think one of my relatives wanted him, and that got me into this big, huge ring of a theft ring. I have never had a theft charge yet. They're trying to put me on some kind of theft ring now. They're destroying my life again, and I wasn't even off probation.
What's bad is that he got it too, and he didn't steal them either. He got those chainsaws from old George and George's brother. See, he didn't steal them either. He got them from someone else. It just
I didn't even know anything about them except looking at them to see what kind of shape they were in and see if my friend wanted them. And I never ever saw him a second time. Never went back to his house a second time except to work on my brakes. But yet that involved me with him, and I don't even know the guy's last name.
And the poor guy's got 26 years.
And it's just ongoing with me. And then an attorney's not supposed to bring up your past charges, which mine were unadjudicated. Both attorneys brought up my past charges to me and said that they were going to put me down for a hard time because of my past charges, which were unadjudicated. And everybody's bringing up my past charges and saying they're going to put me down for life, when I'm stopped for doing a major drug deal with this girl, and I never ever spoke to her, but they lied under oath and said that I was talking to her, which I didn't. I hadn't talked to her in 7 years since the last time she was in my house, and dope was planted in there.
And then why in the hell wouldn't they stop her if her too?
They let her drive right through. And then they decided, I guess, to cover their tracks even further. They caught her at the park, supposedly, and, walking papers, I guess. I don't know. I never get them.
No, she was under the hidden indictment, or closed indictment.
Oh, closed. Well, mine are always open. So I've been off probation after going through all this time, and then 5 years probation, and paying them thousands of dollars and doing over my sentence amount of time. And then I turn around and I'm like off for no time. And they said if I didn't come up with the money by 1 o'clock, that I was going to have a life sentence. A life sentence. I got the next $3,000 because my mother knew some people at the loan company.
That's what they did to me.
This was in 15 minutes. I had to get to $3,000, but that Friday I was going to sell 2 Raleigh bikes and come up with the money, because it wasn't due till Monday. But no, they wanted it on Thursday where I could do a life sentence, and they have tortured me to the point of it's just only God knows. And you know what? The only reason that I know some way somehow that this stuff is going to go past me is because I believe in God, and I'm going to tell you right now, He's always been there for me. Only person that's ever been there for me. And you know what?
I have.
It's sad. Well, yeah, you have, but it's just, I've had it. And now I'm looking at probably going down for life again, and this is just life, let's just destroy her whole life. And then a constable came into my house and told my mother, an 86-year-old woman and my 16-year-old child and my 13-year-old nephew, they said, you might as well get used to it. We're going to give you life. We're going to give you a life sentence. You're going to get it. They told my mother, just horrible. You might as well get used to it. She's going to get life. We've worked on it. We're going to give her life, and just tortured my mother and tortured her. Then they said they were going to give me life for not paying my fines, another $3,000, because I spent more time in the penitentiary. I didn't think it was fair of me going anyway when they kicked my back tail light out. Illegal search, illegal everything, illegal search in the park. I've had it.
They did I can't handle it. They came in without a warrant.
They came in my home.
They came in on false pretenses too.
One little tiny section of my home was on the warrant. Let's go straight to the gun closet where the dope is planted, and let's put her in the penitentiary for life. Let's get her again. Let's get her again. Let's get her again. When I was a child, somebody threw a water balloon out of my car.
They pinpoint women mainly in Marlin.
They got me assault charges on my permanent record, where every time a cop pulls me over, they virtually throw me up against the back of the car like I'm. And then another officer says, you got to watch her. She's got all these deadly weapons. Every gun I've ever had was stolen from the police department. They mandated they give them back, and they said, oops, we lost them.
I never got a list of the things they took from me.
Took them all. Every bit of it.
And it disappears in lockup. And they don't give you a list of them either.
I did that to another guy too. The same task force that ran in on me at a Fort Hood ran on at his house. They had black uniforms on. Their faces were covered. They ran in my store while I was trying to do the windows for a market on Main Street, and they came in my store and made me get out of my windows and asked me what I was doing there. What are you doing in there? Who are you? They all knew who I was. I mean, there was some Marlin policeman there, Fort Hood, everything else. And the only reason I know is that dispatcher told me that she had heard that they're bringing in all these Fort Hood officers to practice on us.
That is somebody you need to talk to. The dispatcher that was there for so many years, she got fired because she complained because someone had stole her pain pills out of her purse. Not once, but twice.
Yeah.
And so they fired her for having her pain pills there at work. But she was honest about it, at least. But that cop, and we know who the cop is because he's the only one that kept walking in there. He's the one that was both times that she lost her pain pills.
They went into my purse. They took everything out of my purse, and they didn't take it to where I was incarcerated, in the unit I was incarcerated in. This is the last time that I'm looking at. But they took all my credit cards, all the checks, everything.
Her mother's Social Security card.
Everything.
Which is
my
illegal.
mother was right there. We were en route to go to the pawn shop and pay off thousands and thousands of dollars worth of pawn jewelry, but I didn't pawn it for full amount. I only pawned it for $500 that I needed to survive, and I had $504 in my purse. And the sergeant that's deceased now, I said, "You've got to please."
He's not a sergeant. He is the chief of police.
Chief of police or whatever that's deceased. What was his name?
Chief.
Yeah.
Daryl,
Allen or something
Allen.
like that. Yeah, I said I have to have my pawn called in, and he goes, "Don't worry, I'll put a police hold on it." And I said, "That jewelry's mine. I have receipts on it because we buy from the World
and
Trade
they were
Center."
gone.
And so they locked me up for a long time. I said 5 times, "Please, please put a hold on these, please." And he said he would. He promised he would. He wouldn't give me my pawn tickets, wouldn't give me anything, and I lost all my jewelry. He never called. I called 5 times and asked him to speak to him. They would not put him on the phone.
He wouldn't ever call me back either. I'd have to go in there and demand.
We did go in there. We went in there and they made my mother wait over 2.5 hours and made me wait over 2 hours. And then they said the only way that they'd speak to me is that if I signed some kind of papers that said that I was involved in the theft ring with Jared, and then I would sign papers like that. And I said, why would I do that?
After
I wasn't involved in it.
The jail starved me for 4 days.
I didn't get a change of clothes for 5 days. 5 days.
4 days they wouldn't let me have food. I had to sign an agreement that I wouldn't sue them in order to get fed.
Well, I was in there right before going to the penitentiary, and they put vinegar on my food. The people inside put vinegar, and I would have starved to death if it hadn't been for a girl named McDaniels who gave me some of her Roman noodles, or I'd have been dead. And I drank the water, and the water was on a bowl band, and it made me so physically sick. I got a migraine headache. The water spewed out of my mouth when I tried to drink it because 2 people in my family are dead from kidney problems, my daddy and my brother.
Because of all the metals in the water.
And I said, I've got to have something to drink other than water. They said, well, you have to wait a week for commissary. You wait a week for any type of medication. I had a migraine headache so bad from the water, and it was from the water.
They were making girls keep their contact lenses in their eyes for long periods of time because they didn't have any saline solution.
I believe that. And then we didn't get any commissary. We didn't get cleanup products for 3 days when a girl was in there with full-blown hepatitis C, and she was a prostitute, and she said she could have full-blown AIDS. She was on her period, and we were in there with somebody with full-blown hepatitis C.
Quick in there. Prostitutes probably have less disease than regular women.
She did.
Because regular women give it away. At least a prostitute takes care of her body. It is her temple.
I'm not talking about everybody. I'm just talking about, and I don't know any prostitutes anyway, but whatever. But I want to know any. Anyway, it's wrong. I got no medication. There was a girl in there. Her finger was blue. It was sliced almost off. She'd had a fight with her boyfriend.
The blood pressure one's driving me crazy.
Her finger was almost black, about to fall off. This is a true story. They wouldn't even put water on it. They wouldn't put medication or a Band-Aid on it.
This is the town that the actual sheriff, not right now sheriff, but the other sheriff, had a hit put out on an elderly woman because he owed her money.
And they're probably going to kill me over this. I'll probably be dead. So if I'm dead, I want everybody to take note of this.
Well, remember.
I think I'll probably get killed inside.
No,
I tried before.
Now as long as you come out in the...
I was in the hanging cell. The same hanging cell where I hung that girl, and they said that I was next. In the hanging cell, one of the officers stood in front of my cell and wouldn't let them hang me. These are honest to God true stories.
I'm not lying. These women die in that damn cell. I've been in it.
Witness to God. And they've done so many crooked, illegal things to me. I've had it. I can't take it anymore.
They steal your property.
They're going to put me away from life or kill me inside. I know they will. And it's not for lack of them trying. They locked me in a room with 200 people and told them they didn't care what they did with them. Not one of them would touch me because I knew I didn't deserve it. But the snitch in there, the snitch that I'd reported, which I did report the snitch, they beat the hell out of her. They let me walk. And it was all black against white thing, and I was the only white person in there, and I have nothing against black people. My thing is, I was raised by black people. But you know what? I don't cut anything. When somebody's snitching, they're snitching. I don't care if you're white, black, or anything else. I hate a damn snitch. And so I told that girl, hey man, you snitched us out, that's it. And all we were doing was trying to get some food. We were starving to death. After that, we were dead. If you didn't have commissary, you were dead inside because you didn't have anything to eat.
But if you do have commissary money, this is what I've been trying to get started forever. If you got commissary money, take care of your inmate next to you that don't have anything, even if you hate their guts, because you know how bad it feels. You starve while you're in jail.
They wouldn't let my commissary go through.
Oh, they kept
100. And even the commissary woman said, "This is ridiculous."
Brown oh shit, what's her name? What's her name was stealing? Not Brown. Miss Brown's awesome. Miss Henry and her daughter, Miss Berry.
Well,
they were stealing the commissary money, getting their hair done.
3 pair of over $100 Nike tennis shoes because my sister kept taken up there, and they said there's a little tiny piece of blue. There's a little tiny, like the label was a little tiny color.
Yet you can walk right in with dope, by the way. Yeah, they leave their dope right in there, and they don't even check anybody out. I found all sorts of dope in the damn.
I was in there with a pair of roller skate shoes, but yet they would not let me have any Nike shoes. That my sister ended up putting $140 pair of Nike.
They wear wigs in, not weaves, but wigs. I mean, they're not even supposed to have weaves in. They're supposed to cut them out.
They took my tennis shoes. They took my headphones. They took my stereo that I bought. They took my book that I wrote, and I had a book that I wrote the entire time in there, and they had the graphics done.
And they don't let your mail go out at all.
Oh, I never ever got one letter to all my people. Not one not one attorney. I wrote 5 different attorneys. One of the attorneys that was helping me was debarred during that time, and it made no sense because he was helping me by telling me the people that snitched me off. And he was debarred a couple of days later. I thought that was weird. Of course, I already seen the paperwork on the people that snitched me off, and they were all informants. They're all major drug people, and they keep snitching me off.
They are the biggest crime
lab people and everything else
in Texas.
Yep.
That town is a crime syndicate. Did you know that the
sick of it. I'm probably dead already, but I don't care. I'm going to die in the penitentiary anyway.
The certain people meet each month, and everybody knows who it is, and the cops know who it is. They never touch them. They never mess with them, and they meet every Saturday every month there.
There's some people that run a cab company. I'm not going to say where, but they've got so much that it's unbelievable. All my stuff is gated. Everything I have is put away with some people I trust. And if I happen to die while I'm inside this time, because it's not for lack of them trying. Last time they had this white girl was huge with arms about the size of a sumo wrestler, and this other big white girl that was in there, and they told them, they locked me in the cell with them. They told them, go ahead and beat the hell out of her. We don't care. And that one white girl, because she knew people I knew outside, she said, anybody touches her. And she looked at the other girl, and she said, I swear it'll be the last touch you ever do on anybody. And I stood there going, I can't beat those 2 girls up. I can give it a try. Hell, what am I supposed to do? And thank God she stood up for me, because if not, and this was a guard saying, go ahead, beat her up. Go ahead, do it. Because I'd snitched off that black girl because she was mad at me for snitching off their snitch that was just lying on people, and she was breaking people's arms inside. These are honest to God's truth. I witnessed to God that she would grab the elbow and twist people's arms back, and I told her, you break another person's arm, I swear. And I said, why don't we go to church, since your daddy's a preacher, and why don't we go to the church and tell the preacher what you're doing? And then she was going to kick a girl's face in, and her father was president of a bank, and I put my face right up to where her foot was, and I said, go ahead and do it, but kick my face in first. Do you think you can kick her face in, kick mine in first? This is honest to God's truth. She wouldn't do it. They removed me. That same guard that hated all of us called us stupid fucking retard. You motherfucking retard. I told her, come in here and call me a retard. I went to another cell where they locked me away from her, and they almost beat that girl to death.
They put
the true story. They almost beat her to death.
Old Henry kept telling Jeremy in front of all of the other inmates. Kept calling me a whore. And
they call it you fucking moron, you fucking piece of shit moron. Mm-hmm. And they put ankle bracelets on my feet and my wrist, and they paraded me from the top of the jailhouse all the way to Main Street, where I had to get in the vehicle to go to the penitentiary.
It's time for people to unite against the real bullies. The police and the judicial system now turned into the bullies. They are more of a mafia than ever a mafia was.
I had ankle things on my feet. Cut into my feet, and that same one that was calling her a retard, she goes, come on, man, you fucking retard. I said, why don't you take those ankle things off my feet and wrist and call me a retard?
Okay, people, we got to get out of here.
It's wrong.
We're
it's wrong
2 minutes over.
I'm dead.
She's not dead.
They'll kill me.
No, they won't.
I know they will.
Because now you got...
If I get killed inside, at least somebody has proof.
And we got stacks and stacks of paperwork. Me and her... Stacks and stacks and stacks.
I got mine guarded by some people that'll never let it go. They're in the government.
Special message out to one person that I love to death.
Wish I had an attorney.
Richard, those demons would go away if you had just come out with the truth and fought back. You sold out, baby. They had no right to do you the way they did. You don't stop a man that is getting gasoline in the middle of the night and bully them like they did you. They bullied you because you were already scared of being gay in a little tiny town. But we had your back, babe. They should never have bullied you, and you should have our back because we're always there for you. come up and speak the truth about that fucking low-life piece of shit town.
I got one more thing to say. I had two court-appointed attorneys. I had never had conversations with them. They both came up to me, no conversation. I introduced myself, and this one said, "Yeah, she's crazy. We're going to go do a crazy test on her." They did it to another guy. I know 5 different people they've done this to that are not crazy.
They did
and
to
they turn
Jeremy,
around, and
and
so
he
what
got
they're
judged
doing is they're
not.
covering their tracks by saying they're crazy, where they can cover up all the shit they've done.
But the
to people.
hospital proved Jeremy wasn't
I
crazy.
know good damn well I'm not crazy. I'm crazy to live in
And
this town.
my attorney said that he and I had a long discussion about my case. I tried to talk to him. He was in there 3 minutes.
Well, I had the court, and so I said, "Excuse me, I've never said
And
2
he's a
words
member of
to
the
you.
Good Old Boy
How
Club
can you
anyway."
turn around and say that I'm crazy? I've never said 2 words." He goes, "Oh, I've been in the law profession for a long time." And then
These people
all
don't
this
even know how to
shit
turn books.
Is insane. Insane. I don't even get it. How can you keep doing this
They
to
don't
people?
know the laws. I know that.
Well,
or
I
the
know one
Constitution.
time they put me in the penitentiary, and I hired an attorney, and the attorney called the Texas Probate Board in, and the Attorney General Maddox. I know him. I know a lot about him. He's virtually family, and I'm going to tell you something about him. He said there was no Texas Probate Board. My attorney, Ron Butler, went in there, and who's a known crook, and they tried to debar Ron Butler. I did, and another big-time attorney out of Waco, and he got on the board where he couldn't be taken down. The only reason he wasn't taken down is because he's on the board, because he's crooked as hell. He did so many crooked things to me. That man should never be allowed to practice law. He had me put in the penitentiary.
Yet they
and
go
I
after-
already had everything. I had 5 judges I worked with out of Amarillo, and the judges gave me everything to do on my case. 5 that were very good friends of mine through the Nabisco line.
Yet
company.
they go after peace-loving people that don't do a damn thing, but maybe.
Heir to the
Yeah.
Nabisco line is my friend. Her husband was a big-time judge. She loved me. I was so
Yet they do entrapment. They steal from the county. They steal from the people.
They're going to
They
take away
kill
life.
people.
Everybody's
They,
life.
They do everything in the world, all against females that they've abused in some way or another.
If I live through this, I'll be lucky. I'll be lucky, because last time there was over and over and over they tried to kill me, and these are honest to God facts.
These
And
cops
God
are
knows.
deadly.
See, I don't have to worry, because God knows. And they destroyed my truck. They poured fluids all over my truck, like oils and all sorts of stuff, because I was having transmission problems. I had a Lucas transmission.
We're out of time, but we're like 5 minutes out. Say
So
goodbye.
anyways,
Say.
well, I'm not going to say goodbye, because you know what? I'll be standing next to God.
It's going to be a great day. She said it's going to be, she's feeling lucky today.
It's going to be a great day.
lucky day.
Damn
We're
straight.
going
At
to
least
save
somebody's
the
going to
world.
know if I end up getting killed inside.
We need lawyers. We
Nobody
need
will help me. Nobody.
ACLU. Get it to the ACLU. If you don't want to send a friggin' nothing,
Nobody will help me.
call the ACLU for us. Say, stand up against small-time corruption. Small-town corruption is the worst.
They're putting me in the pen over, they have no probable cause, nothing. They said I was doing a dope deal, there's no dope. They said I was stealing pipes and stuff, I didn't steal pipes, but they're letting all these cops surround me, block me in,
And I'm pimping
put
off
me
girls
in the
that's
pen.
not there.
Yeah, it's not right. Man, it's not right at all. And you know what? You know, they'll have to answer to God for what they're doing. I don't have to worry. They can do what they want to me, but in the end, you'll answer to God.
They're going to have to answer to somebody.
No, they'll answer to God.
They're going to answer to the damn
If they've done
4
stuff to
horsemen
me,
of the
they will.
apocalypse. Anyway, peace out. Many blessings, massive orgasms when you can get them. My name
And
is
always
Carla
remember,
Holland-Strange.
I'm in God's army, so whatever.
And I'm with the 4 horsemen. I'm their bitch. Bye.